Hey guys, Sebious here, another Sebious Speaks, talking about my gaming week. Now mostly this has been Shadow of Mordor, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. I know Sarah and I did the Sit in the Cylon talking about kind of the fall of Destiny and the rise of Shadow of Mordor, talking about a few of the bits and bobs, but I have to say I've been playing it insanely intensely, about over 45 hours since it came out. And I've finally completed all the achievements, all the story, all the bits and bobs, played through a couple of the challenges and stuff. But I'm just saying, I'm still absolutely loving it, and I'm ready and raring to start again because it's just so good. I think the thing is, so first of all, they made the amazing decision to make it an 18, so they can be as brutal and gory and epic as it needs to be, and that's that in these day and age. That's quite a ballsy move, and that was awesome. But this game is it's so entrenched in Tolkien, the world of Middle Earth, and the joy of Tolkien. Like the story itself is not canonical, but obviously it's set in the time between the end of the last Hobbit film, and which is sort of going on in the end of The Hobbit, and the footnotes of The Hobbit, and the notes around The Hobbit, the book itself, and The Lord of the Rings. And it is made with the love of The Lord of the Rings, and it's just so wonderful. So you are Talion, a cursed ranger who is linked with a wraith who gives him epic abilities and powers, and you hack and slash and brand and control and threaten and do all sorts of crazy things to Uruks and Orcs, and it's just so unbelievably fun. It kind of makes Rise look like, what was that? That was literally just a little test and a demo, because Rise was so much fun, but Shadow of Mordor is just on a new level, and the story is, I think, very good, very interesting, and very enjoyable. The characters are great, and I just can't stop playing it. I just can't stop killing orcs. It's just so much fun. I don't know else what to say. It is a ridiculous amount of fun. And I'm very much planning to do another playthrough. I may even try and sort out a Twitch stream and stream my second playthrough at some point when I get to it. And that will be playing through as much of the story as playing through the story, all story missions, ignoring all side missions, and trying not to do any upgrades or pick up any runes. So keeping it completely basic, because if I had any complaints or anything I wanted to say about the kind of end of the game without spoiling things too much, I did find it was a little easy. There are moments in the game which are extremely hard, and you can still make it extremely hard for yourself even after completing the game. But there are moments when it's that's a bit easy, and that's kind of the biggest complaint I can level at it, to be honest. It is unbelievably much fun, and it is awesome. Now, after completing the game, if you have if you downloaded the season pass, you get all the challenges, which you have the test of speed, the test of power, and the test of wisdom, and the unending challenge. Now these are sort of basic timed challenges, although you don't have to do it within the time. You do have to do it within the time to get on the leaderboards, and there are certain things you need to do, like not die a certain amount of times and get a certain amount of points. Now this point system seems to be rather odd. You're supposed to be using as many dynamic and interesting things as possible. So for instance, calling in Caragors, setting off the Morgai flies, setting off people's fears and hatreds, sending death threats. But that's quite difficult to do within the time, and also to get the points. I'm still not entirely sure how this point system is based and what's going on with that. It's something I'm having to try and wrap my head around, but I've done the first two. I did complete the third one, but I didn't actually do it within the time, so I need to give that another go. And yeah, I just can't stop playing it. I keep wanting to play that stuff, but just what compares to being absolutely epic and taking down orcs and other creatures in a wonderful, beautiful Middle-earth setting? Well, as beautiful as Mordor is, it's rendered beautifully. That's the thing, and it's a glorious thing. And speaking of the DLC, so when I completed the story last week, or earlier in the week, last week, I ordered the DLC straight away because I realised that it was just the season pass that was available at release, not all the content. But the content is looking incredible. There is some more, the Guardians of the Eye, I believe it's called, some more, even more hardcore, super legendary war chiefs for you to take down in a bit of a story challenge. There's more stories for the Hunter, the Dwarf, character and some more beasts and things to hunt down, which will be really looking forward to, because the dwarf is a really fun, interesting character. It's kind of different from the way dwarves are seen in the Lord of the Rings, and also very different to the way dwarves are seen in The Hobbit, because The Hobbit, they're just very pretty and there to catch people's attention rather than being particularly dwarven. Whereas the dwarf in Shadows of Mordor, he kind of really reminds me of a Warhammer fantasy dwarf. He's got that short, squat, but really muscled, somewhat Scottish, tattooed hunter rah thing, opposed to this kind of grim-faced, miney, not really liking anyone else dwarfs that you kind of find in Lord of the Rings. But he's obviously just a jolly version of that kind of stuff, or the pretty ones you find in the Hobbit film. Oh, I can't really talk about these things without kind of putting in just how I'm not feeling, but praying, absolutely praying the last Hobbit film will be better. But then again, we did that with the episodes 1 to 3, and then look at Revenge of the Sith. But we did not need to talk about that. But yes, I'm just loving it, and it's a beautiful thing. Other things in the DLC are going to be the Bright Lord or the Bright Master, where you actually will be Celebrimbor, the Wraith, and you will be fighting not as the Wraith, you'll be fighting him as the elf against Sauron and his army with a Ring of Power, which just sounds incredible, and I cannot wait to get my hands on that, although probably next year for that stuff, even though I'm ready and have my season pass waiting. I want to wave it and yeah, get ready to have it. So yeah, that was a major thing. I was playing about and tweaking my Magic deck, Magic the Gathering, my Mardu deck for Friday Night Magic. Was feeling pretty good about it. Feeling quietly confident. I arrived. I played the, unfortunately had the kid last week who had the unfortunate situation with the out-of-date cards, and managed to get a win, which was good. But then every other game followed a very similar pattern. I would do incredibly well first off, getting people down to between 5 and 1 life. Many times it was between 1 and 3 life. Smacking face, them actually getting quite grumpy with me for how much face I was smacking, and then it would stop. And they would build defences and then destroy me. This happened 3 times in a row. And then I finally, in the last round, drew Sarah, who was playing her Abzan deck, and she actually took me apart in a rather convincing manner, although I did manage to take a game off her, I do think. But yes, it just wasn't starting. Lots of compliments about how aggressive and epic the Warriors were, and they nearly did it. It could have been, I could have gone 4 and 1, but instead it was 1 and 4. And I was a very grumpy bear, a Mardu bum, a Mardu bum. In fact, toys came out of the pram, and yes, tears nearly came from my eyes, because I was just so grumpy and angry. The fact that to get so close is one thing, to get beaten and deserve it, and there's never seems to be the chance of you winning the game. But when you are consistently beating people down to within an inch of their lives and then still losing, it was very sad times. I need to have a bit of a tweak, but I also think I need to just give it another go and see how it goes. But hopefully, I will see either play Mardu, or I'm very tempted to play my enchantment, foe enchantment extort deck, which is going to have lots of Grim Guardians and some Tormented Heroes and some Underworld Coinsmiths, just so I've got the Constellation enchantment stuff and Heroic, kind of making a pretend kind of extort, because I loved extort so much, and then some control in there. But I'm sure I'll do a video talking about that more specifically rather soon. So yeah, Magic was not really been feeling the Magic epically because of the sad times, but there were lots of compliments, like I said, and the games were fun. The games were epic. The games were, because when you destroy someone down to very short life, and then they have to spend a while building things back up and then taking down your life, which hasn't really been touched, it does turn the game on its head and does make for an interesting experience. But I seem to get the worst of both worlds, because people would get grumpy with me for being so aggressive and smacking so much face at the beginning, but then I still lost. I don't really know what to say about that, but yeah, all a learning experience, and I'll see what happens next time. But unfortunately, we're not going to Friday Night Magic this week because it's another two-headed giant Khan's sealed event, and we kind of have the cards for Khans we want, or there's only a few. We don't really want to get into that, and the two-headed giant we did last time did not go well, so we're giving that a miss. But at the weekend it is game day, and I'm very much looking forward to the Khans of Tarkir game day, and we'll be talking about how we get on there. Not expecting to do too well, but we shall see. Hopefully win a few more games, hopefully than last time, and I presume I will be taking the Mardu. May even surprise people again with the faux enchantment, the actual enchantment faux extort deck, but we shall see. Other gaming things I've been doing this week, so we had Sarah's folks down, and basically Sarah's dad fell asleep as her and her mum watched Little Women. I decided that I wanted to kind of maybe extricate myself from that situation, because I wasn't really feeling like watching the 1949 edition of Little Women. So I found myself in the bedroom, away from the Xbox One, with the Xbox 360. So I thought, I will give GTA 5 a go, because I've not played that in such a long time, and never actually completed it. Because we got it, we loved it, it was a beautiful, amazing, deep, huge, joyous, wonderful experience, and then the online happened, and it didn't work very well at first, and then people were just spoiling the game for other people, and the heist sort of never really happened, and kind of it fizzled. It was like a huge big bang, a huge send-off for the previous generation, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, and it completely just blew the top off the quality and epic scale. And then kind of the online killed it, and then the next generation came on and it got forgotten. So I thought I'd give it a go. Couldn't really find out what I was doing. Gave a go at starting again. Didn't really feel it, but then found a save where I knew what was going on and kind of had a bit of play. And I have to say, sometimes going back to games isn't always the best thing in the world, because I said a lot of things about Watch Dogs when Watch Dogs came out, about how it was a bit of just a GTA clone, and it really wasn't that much new, and we didn't get to do as much of the stuff that we expected to do, especially with the technical hacking elements, as was expected. But going back to GTA, I couldn't believe how clunky it was. It still looks beautiful, it still sounds beautiful with all the great radio stations, although there's only ever one. The old school hip hop is what's needed in the GTA games. It's a beautiful thing. And the content and the characters and the depth and the story is all amazing, and definitely has that over Watch Dogs in a very serious way. But just the getting around was really clunky, and the shooting and the driving and the crazy long distances you have to drive just felt very, I don't know, meh, and left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. And like, it was such a beautiful game. It was one of the greatest games of all time at the time, but it doesn't seem to have held up with the kind of next generation of things that are coming along. So I look forward to playing a bit more Watch Dogs, which is something that I was never thought I was going to say again, because I was so kind of put off, because the story and the character are a bit naff with Watch Dogs, and that's something that GTA will always have. But I want to play a bit more Watch Dogs, and maybe complete the story, and then we do a video talking about them directly, because I think, and I will hold my hands up here, I think I may have been a bit harsh on Watch Dogs. So I look forward to kind of discussing and looking to that at another time. So other things going on this week: falling in love with Warhammer Fantasy. Now, I already posted my video about the End Times Book 1 Nagash and my joys there. I've posted up some pictures. There were some beautiful painted Nagash and his Montarchs from Warhammer Fest up on Anna's Index. There's been the new models, the Blight Kings, the Noggle Plague Knight dudes, who are just beautiful, and I just find myself desperately waiting, desperately wanting 9th edition to come along so I can get myself a nice starter set, have all the rules, everything I need to know, and have basically the spare army for Sarah to play, and so I have someone to play with at home. and I just can't wait to get into Warhammer Fantasy. I know your friendly thing Wargamer, pointy-eared hobgoblin, Ascani dog. There are many members of the Allies Index who are into Warhammer Fantasy, and I'm saying I want to join. I want to get involved, and I look forward to that. I know it's going to be next year, hopefully early next year. And yes, we shall see. I will keep my eye on the rumours about the contents for the 9th edition set, because I'm hoping for something chaos or something undead, and I look forward to getting involved in that, because it's looking beautiful, and I'm going to do a video looking at some of these the End Times models so far, because they are looking incredible, and I'm loving it a lot. The other thing, I've been reading The Emperor's Gift by Aaron-Dembski-Bowden, the Grey Knight's epic novel, which is just incredible, absolutely sumptuous. I finished that, and I've put up a call on Allies Index speaking to the other guys, see if they want to do a video talk discussion review about the video, and if I don't hear anything, I'll just do one of these and fangirl by myself and have a lovely time, because honestly it is one of the best Black Library books I've read that isn't Horus Heresy, and it is significantly better than some of the Horus Heresy books themselves. Just the level of detail and quality, and just the kind of emotional aspect that the Grey Knights can bring because of their psychic link and the way they can pulse kind of thoughts and emotions to each other, and just the way things are described. There's a very different feel. There's a very different take, I suppose. Just the way it's written feels different to other 40k writings, although it's still the grim, dark, beautiful, horrible, gruesome, devilish world universe that we all know and love, and it's instantly recognisable. But the way it's handled, the way just the way you are with the character and the way things are just a wonderful thing. And I don't know if that's just because I didn't know too much about Grey Knights beforehand, but it's really made me kind of have a greater appreciation for them, which is hard for me as a heretic, as a big fan of Chaos Space Marines and Chaos Demons, who are obviously kind of big foe of the Grey Knights. But yeah, that's awesome, and I, surprisingly enough, started reading Nagash the Sorcerer, because, as I said, I'm becoming obsessed with Warhammer Fantasy and Nagash and all this stuff, and I needed to know his story all the way up to the end times and what's going on now. And I'm really enjoying that. It's one of the first times I've read Mike Lee, I believe, and at first it was quite dense and a bit difficult to get into because there was a lot of detail and a lot of stuff going on. But once you're in, it's just beautiful. He paints a wonderful scene in great detail and gives you so much information and background as things go along, and it's just, yeah, really enjoying that as well. That's kind of it for this week. Just that's the things I've been doing. Planning some more videos, talking about the end times. Got a few other things planned, and sorting out fangling some streaming on the Xbox would be great. And I'm going to get around to doing some more Let's Plays and stuff as well at some point soon. It's just finding the time, the energy, and trying to do all that other stuff. But look out, I posted up some more rumours and lots of pictures from Warhammer Fest, lots of new Forge World good stuff going on there, and a bunch of Black Library stuff I've just posted today, so you should check out that on Allies Index. So again, I'm Darth Sebious, this is Sebious Speaks for Allies Index, a place for all things geeky gaming. That's alliesindex.com. We're mainly based on Tumblr, but you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and all that good stuff. We've got video games, card games, board games, tabletop, fantasy. Oh, fantasy, that's something I want to talk about quickly before I go. Fantasy football has completely taken over our lives. I've said this before, but it's unbelievable. We're up to date with the league now, the TV show that's made me even more insane about it than possible. But I only say that I am now 6-0 at the top, with a two-win gap between myself and I think it's Seahawks fan and Toxic, which is rather epic, and it's just making the whole experience of watching the football, keeping up with the football, rapidly checking the fantasy updates. It's just a really fun experience, and it's just so much better than the football or soccer fantasy, because you can have the same players. Everyone has the same player, everyone has Diego Costa as their captain, his points become negligible. In the NFL fantasy, you draft, you can only have the player, and that's awesome. It really is fun, and it really depends on the player, and it makes you really pay attention to all the games going on. Before, we were just watching the Ravens, because that's who we support, core motherfrackers, and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's just so much fun. But yeah, so as I was saying, but fantasy football, missed games, board games, card games, video games, tabletop, 40k fantasy, all that good stuff on asnext.com. Check us out, and if you want to get involved, want to share something with us of a one-off, maybe a model you've done, talking about a campaign or a session or a book review or anything like that, feel free to submit. And if you want to have an ongoing regular kind of article, video or comment or news or rumours, anything you wanted, whether it was kind of daily, weekly or monthly, roughly monthly basis, kind of the largest kind of gap we want to have, but get involved with us and we'd love to have you join the blog and start posting. So once again, I'm Sebious. This is my Sebious Speaks Gaming Week, and I will catch you guys later. Taddy bye.